Hello, hello to everybody. Let me know if everybody can hear me okay. Sometimes my internet is spotty. Hey, Keeper, John, Piner, Jesse, Claudette, Miles, Ty, Lou, good. Press harder. What's up, buddy? Mike. Okay, perfect. Yeah, we'll wait just a minute or two to let people hop on in here. I posted the link if anybody wants to hop on with me. They're more than welcome. Thank you. Joko, Tag. All right. So, yeah, like 5 Al said, we can get on with it. They can rewind it if they need to watch it later. So, as you the first one is against no recording in the buildings, and I sued him over that ordinance. So, the other day, I get a um, thing in the mail, an answer to my complaint from their lawyers. And I'm reading through it, and most of it's just garbage, denying the claims, obviously not accepting any kind of responsibility. We don't know anything type of answer, sufficient information. So, just the regular old no accountability, no transparency. But I got to page 5 of 6, and for their 11th defense, it says on March 10th, 2025, the defendant, through Ordinance 2025 1, amended Section 99.01 of Chapter 99 of Title 9 of the Easley City Code and void of any actual case or controversy. And I was like, hold up. Did they, and it seems that yes, they have. Dan Lofat's here with me.
I'm gonna put an
Hey, Dan.
earbud in. Uh, I'm gonna put an earbud in.
Yeah, you're kind of sound far away. So you guys are saying that the
Okay,
audio is
so
in and out? All right, so let
use
me try to get
earbuds.
closer to
That's what
my
we're gonna do.
router then.
Hopefully.
We'll hang out.
Apparently, StreamYard doesn't work with. I'm gonna. Yeah, I'm just gonna get. I'm gonna cut out and then come back in with the earbud already set up.
Okay, guys, let me know if you can hear me better now. Can you hear me better? Okay, perfect. Okay, I'm closer to the router, so hopefully that negates any kind of interference. Okay, so basically what I was saying was what I was reading is that they filed an answer to my lawsuit, and they said that my lawsuit was moot because they had amended the ordinance. So, which I was shocked to hear. That's exactly what I was asking for, was them to amend the ordinance, um, to take out the part about recording in the public areas, and they did. So they were saying that part of my um, lawsuit, or they were actually trying to say all of my lawsuit was moot because they had, changed the ordinance. But we're going to go over that ordinance now that they changed so we can see, because this is definitely a big one for us, right? Because they had an ordinance, didn't allow us to record in the buildings. I sue them. They end up changing the ordinance to where we can record in the public areas of the building, but with some caveats, right? There's some wordsmithing that they've got going on here. Um, and I've linked um, this ordinance in the description so anybody could follow along with it with us. And so, yeah, that's a great, you know, quasi win for us so far. Now, when we go over it, you'll see where the issues still are. And we're obviously going to continue to address this in our lawsuit, right? Because they're saying that that they should, dismiss our lawsuit because um, they've changed this ordinance. But we're going to point out these discrepancies here that allow way too much leeway for these guys to do just about whatever they want, right? So, did they educate their officers? I don't know, DJ Plas. That's Thank you, Nasty Nathaniel. Good to see you, brother. But let's get into this. I know time is valuable, and you guys don't want me bullshitting around. So, okay, so it's ordinance 2025, and I won't be able to see the chat, guys, because I'm on the other page. I'm going to be scrolling and reading this. It says an ordinance to amend section 99.01, control access to city-owned, blah, blah, blah. Whereas at various times the city of Easley reviews the city ordinances to make necessary improvements and or changes, and blah, blah, blah. Whereas courts have generally recognized that video recording is a form of speech that is protected by the First Amendment. Therefore, private citizens have the constitutional right to record public employees in public places. However, that right is not unlimited, yada, yada, yada. I mean, you guys can read all this at your own leisure. Like I said, I do have it linked in the description. So it says they're going to amend section 99 as follows. Language that is struck through is language proposed to be deleted. Underlined language is language proposed to be added. Language that is not struck through or underlined is not to be changed. And these snowflakes represent sections of the ordinance that have been skipped and remain unchanged. So we're going to go through and just see what they've changed and what they're proposing. So now this is what they're proposing definitions. Limited access area or limited public forum means any designated area on city property that is not generally open to or occupied by the public. So they're at least getting that part correct, right? It says it is open to or occupied by the public on only a limited as needed or by an invitation basis. Again, you can basically read through all this, but what it's saying here is that anywhere the open to the public, occupy the public, that's going to be an area that's not limited, right? That they can't restrict our recording in. But here is where they kind of fall off the rails. It says limited access areas may be designated by doors, physical barriers, yada, 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 stanchions. But then it goes on to say the lack of visible indication shall not prevent the city from considering or treating an area as a limited access area. The city shall retain the right to verbally instruct third parties that an area is a limited access area. See, that's just not going to do because we can see all kinds of abuses taking place with that, right? It has to be definitive, right? There cannot be left up to the discretion that this area is all of a sudden limited because you guys know you see the videos, they try that all the time. They try that all the time with areas that we know are obviously open to the public. So it's got to be decided ahead of time in advance. um, it tells us what limited access areas include but not limited to, obviously employee offices, workspaces. I mean, these are all places that were restricted access anyway, so that's no big deal. City official means pretty much everybody getting paid by tax dollars. Um, so it talks about city property. Public area means any area on city property that is generally open to public, general public access. All right, so they remove some it all confirms or complies with, and this one they struck out the whole paragraph, and this was one of the troubled ones. It says all city employee work areas within city hall are designated by appropriate signage as work areas shall be considered as non-public forums. So they struck that whole paragraph out. Um, there's limited access areas, you guys can read about them. uh, this says, video and photography is prohibited in the restricted access areas, which of course we already know. This right here is going to be problematic for them, and it's going to be something that we're going to address. It says no person shall photograph, audio record, or video record any private third party lawfully entering into, using, or occupying a limited access area without the express consent of such third party. Now, I'm going to come back so I can see the chat real quick, but we already know that anywhere that we're allowed to be lawfully, we can record, right? So, what they're trying to say here, imagine this scenario. I've already worked it out in my mind, but let's say I'm at City Hall and I'm looking to do a story on the mayor because I've been hearing that he's getting kickbacks from developers. So, I'm at City Hall, I'm recording in the lobby, and the known developer walks in, and he, walks in and he's going to walk into the mayor's office, which is obviously a limited access area, right? We don't need to have a PhD in this, but so he's walking into the limited access area. This right here is trying to say that I would need his consent in order to record this developer going into the mayor's office to give him kickbacks. I would need his consent. So we know that that's definitely problematic. There's also other issues that I can see with this would be like, let's say the mayor's office had, floor to ceiling windows, that you could see right through, because he's a quote unquote transparent mayor. And, that's his office. So I could look into this limited access area, and I could see, the mayor. And are they saying that that is against this ordinance as well? And I believe so. So we're definitely going to have to get that addressed. But lost audio. Can you hear me? Noxie, can you hear me? Okay. Seven City says you can hear me. Okay. Okay, great. Yeah, sometimes it pops in and out. I'm not sure why. I'm on Starlink. I get really good speed numbers, but sometimes for some reason, I don't know, it just flickers or something, I guess. But so yeah, that's an issue that's gonna have to be addressed. Um, we can go down here, and they stricken this whole section where it says it shall be unlawful and a violation of the section to record video and or sound within city-owned, controlled, or leased property without the consent of all persons whose voice or images is being recorded. So this is definitely a win. It's a step in the right direction. Um, we haven't even really got into the lawsuit yet. They made a motion to dismiss. The judge denied it. They submitted this answer. Now, about a month ago, I submitted a settlement offer to them for a certain amount of money and to repeal the ordinance, or to repeal the sections of the ordinance that had to do with recording. So what I'm thinking they did was they're like, well, hey, we'll just repeal this section of the ordinance and put in our answer that his lawsuit is moot because we fixed the issue. But the issue is also that my rights have been violated now for 2 years, going on 2 years, that we haven't been able, not just me, any of us have been able to go in. Look what happened to the White Rabbit when he went in there. He ended up getting arrested. So our rights have been violated for years now. It's not just oh, we made a mistake. We'll go ahead and fix the ordinance, and now the lawsuit is moot because you know your rights weren't violated for 2 years. You couldn't come in and do stories, or else you'd go to jail. Um, yeah, Noxie. I mean, pretty much. Hey, Winston, good to see you, buddy. I like to hear that. Um, Brand Example trespassed. He's a pretty cool guy, Brand Example. So that's what's going on with the Easley lawsuit. So they filed an answer. We've got a time frame for discovery, and I want to say the trial is not far away, like the next 6 to 9 months, I think. Um, Trial is coming up in this case because it's already been in the court system for like a year or two now. Hey, Ollie. So it's already been in the system for like a year or two now. And this is Metz versus City of Easley, South Carolina. You can look it up on Google. It's in the cases, Justia, and all the other ones, but Pacer and whatnot. And then my other South Carolina case, which I want to talk to you about now as well, is for the video titled Chief Deputy Gets Every Law Wrong, where was the older black gentleman that had accosted me outside the health department there in Barnville, South Carolina. And he literally went from dumb to dumber to literally dumbest within a short span, a really short time frame. Um, so the magistrate judge recommended that they dismiss the lawsuit, and I filed my objections, and the district court judge sided with me that the lawsuit should go ahead. Now, all of my claims didn't make it through. My Fifth Amendment claim did not make it through, which is interesting in and of itself. I don't know if you folks remember the video, but if you do, it was towards the end. He had asked me, I don't know, like where I work or, what kind of job I had, or it was some kind of question I didn't feel like answering. So I said, well, I'm going to take the fifth. And he says, well, I'll just arrest you then. And I'm like, okay. I said, well, if you're going to threaten me with arrest, I guess I'm being coerced to answer your question. What, I didn't say those exact words, but uh, um, I answered it for him, and I filed a Fifth Amendment violation. And the court said that the Fifth Amendment violation can only be when it's testimonial against you, um, and said that it wasn't a violation. So I don't know if maybe if I appealed that, if that would go anywhere, or if it would have to be done under like a right of association. You know what I mean? Because I don't see how somebody threatening you with arrest if you don't answer their questions is not some kind of violation of some right. So, uh, definitely interesting, in that case. So, but the First Amendment and the Fourth Amendment claims did make it through. Um, and to be honest, those claims I believe are a lot stronger. When I was researching the Fifth Amendment claim, it did have some, case law backing up the fact that it had to be, testimonial in nature, um, and not just like a blanket for, any kind of speech. But there has to be some angle there that we're missing, because there's always an angle in the law. If you can't come at it from one way, if you try it from another way, you might be able to come at it. So we have what's known as a right of association. We have a right to associate and we have a right to not associate. It's, I guess you could say, parallel to the right to contract. We have the right to contract and we have the right to not contract. Um, so maybe we can, or at least myself, can come at it like that and see if, um, we can possibly win, coming from that way. But I think that'll be for another time, another suit, because there's going to be plenty more down the line. I'm sure once I get off probation, I'll be back on the street. I've got my Majorly Awesome channel set up so no one can take my name, and I'll be putting out the link soon, and we'll be getting some videos up there once I'm off probation. Hey, New Zealand. No, I didn't request a mail-in ballot. He did threaten me with arrest for no crime. Numerous times. Numerous times. So, it's possible 7 cities. It's possible. So that's pretty much, oh yeah, there's always going to be collabs with Rights Crispy. He's lives right on the same block as me, Tag Buddy. We are going to have a lot of fun. Ordinary County's going to be coming down sooner or later. He's off probation. We are going to have a good time come this summer, I'm betting. Um, Road Hog's got the peanut butter cookies. That's it, man. We're on the road. We're going for peanut butter cookies. You can believe that. Tommy Wood, Thank you, sir. Good to see you. Edward Potts, great. Chris Bell, I do believe he is still working. And what's funny is, now check this out. That chief deputy, if you guys remember the video, the next day I went to the city hall and I talked to the mayor there, and I recorded all that. I put out the video. I talked to the mayor, and he was not bright. Like he was a dim bulb. You know what I mean? He was like one of those 30-watt soft light. Trying to recreate the 1930s look or something. I don't know, but he was a very dim bulb, and he kept asking me, "Well, why are you here? Well, what right did you violate? Why are you here?" But I gave them an intent to sue, and I gave it right to him. I told him, I said, "Look, this is $10,000 and training on the First Amendment. I mean, this is really reasonable, bro. You're going to spend so much more just fighting this lawsuit, even if you lose, even if you win. Even if you win the lawsuit, you're going to spend so much more to fight it." So, you know, I guess you could say I'm giving you the friends and family special, right? Giving you the friends and family special for violating my rights, you dirty bastard. And when I called him up, like 30 days later or whatever, to see what the decision was, of course I always know these guys hate paying me, right? They hate paying me. So I call him up. Hey, what's the deal? What are you guys thinking? What do you got going on there? You guys gonna pay up and do the training, or you want to go to court? And he says, "Well, you're just gonna have to take me to court. I didn't even show it to my lawyer. We didn't even show it to my lawyer." So just ridiculous how flagrant they are with other people's money, the taxpayers' money. This is Barnville, South Carolina. Look it up on Google. This isn't a metropolis, right? This is by in no means a metropolis. So $10,000 is a good chunk of money for them, but it's definitely a lot less than the 40 or 50 or $80,000 they'll spend if I somehow lose and I appeal it. I mean, these people are insane. They're literally insane. Like, and I don't even want to sue you people, but you make me, right? You make me. The stupidity is just such that you can't let it slide. Some stuff I can let slide. Some stuff's petty. We don't need to make much out of it. I'm not out here to harass people and cause problems. But I mean, some stuff is just too stupid, and you want to make sure that this guy isn't out there, or at least has marks on his record, so that eventually, sooner or later, somebody's got to look at him and be like, "Bro, you don't know your job. You've been sued, 5 times in the last 3 years." So at least that's the hope, right? I mean, I know I'm speaking like these people might use logic and common sense, and I know that's a trap we've all fallen into, but we can always hope. With enough of us together, maybe we can help them see the light. We'll see. Yeah, as Jeff would say, big dummies. That's it. Yeah, hopefully he doesn't become chief. Gee, I can't imagine. And we've seen worse stuff like that. The mayor of Easley, South Carolina, guy stole like $50,000 from his own father, and then people invite him in to be the mayor of the city. What do you think is going to happen? Right? Do you guys need a PhD in criminology to know that if this guy's going to rob his own father of 50 grand, that he is probably going to rob the tax-paying citizens that he doesn't know? Hello, McFly? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller? Ah, man. And people still vote, man. They still vote him in, because whatever political party he's in, or maybe he opposes, a guy from a different political party that nobody likes or something. Who knows? There's all kinds of reasons, but how does a man like that even feel comfortable running? Like, I would be embarrassed if I had that kind of a past. Like, my past isn't the greatest, but it's not that bad. So I don't know. But guys, I don't want to take up all your time. I know time is valuable. I just wanted to update everybody on what was going on, and and let you guys see it, firsthand. And like I said, I think that the fact that they've already changed the ordinance, because the second reading was on March 10th, and again, the link is in the description for the ordinance, so you guys can read it yourself. I think this is a big win. A lot of the trolls, they used to say, "Oh, well, look at your activism is getting laws to restrict people's rights," and they were, these cities are passing ordinances that are restricting people's rights. But what the trolls don't understand is that now the cities have opened themselves up for liability by passing these laws. So, and I don't want to say they kind of like fell into a trap, but it's kind of like what they did, and trying to keep us away. They've instituted these policies and procedures now that will allow anybody to sue them over these policies and procedures that violate people's rights, um, without even having to go there and face going to jail. All you have to do is be like, yeah, I would. I'm going to do a story on the mayor there about corruption, or about whatever scandal you heard about. Um, but I can't, because they have this ordinance there. It's restricting my First Amendment right, and take them to court over it. So I'm going to be launching a good number of lawsuits, probably in the next 6 months before I get off probation. Um, and they're going to be aimed. A lot of them are going to be aimed at the ordinances that are passed down here. And there's quite a few of them, like Punta Gorda. So we'll be doing lawsuits to try to address those as well. That's right, 7 cities. Where's the guy that got me here? I'm not sure who that is, Sandra. I am he is I. Ex bootlicker Howard, how you guys doing? John D, Sci-Fi Bry. Always good to have you folks in the house. But yeah, I'm not gonna keep you guys long. I'm gonna let you go. I got stuff to do. You got stuff to do. Um, you guys know I love and support the community. I love and support the mission, what we stand for, what the goal is. I've always told you guys that the first and foremost priority of this channel is to get change, to make people aware of the rights and to respect our rights. Everything else is secondary. I don't care if people are entertained by monologue reading of a city ordinance. Um, it's priorities. We have to stay focused, right? We can't look at shiny things and get distracted. So um, we'll keep doing what we've always done, and hopefully you guys always keep supporting and wanting change and wanting transparency. so that we can all benefit. We're only all going to benefit from the government being physically responsible, right? We all benefit. So this benefits all of us. So there you have it, guys. I love it. So, all right, guys, peace out and have a great night. It's a beautiful night here in Florida. So I hope it's a beautiful night where you are. Later.